When I'm going along and I'm fishing a mat like this, I like to actually go with the wind and try not to make it, you know, a lot of commotion with the trolling motor. There he is. There he is. Because the key is, honestly, you want to be stealth. So, you know, I'm going with the wind, I'm dropping my power poles, and I can just methodically pick this apart. You'll see that fish came off a point in the mat. And the whole key is when you're fishing a mat like this, is there's got to be water underneath it, enough water for that big fish like this to slide underneath the mat to where they have enough room. And if there's a couple feet, 2-3 feet, and I can feel that bait fall through, it's almost automatic. That's pretty awesome. He just absolutely annihilated that reins ring craw. That was really cool. A nice solid female getting ready to spawn. Nice healthy fish, man. These fish are healthy. It's just pulling up. Water's warming. Might get a big one. Biggin. Yes! Whew. Oh man, that is a big one. And he came out of that little patch right there. You can see where I balled him out of. That is the one we're looking for right there. Oh my goodness, man. I had him too and he got away from me. Wow, what a fish. That's a stud. That is what you catch in the early spring. Flooded conditions, there's a lot of flooded wood here, but you want to look for areas like this where there's matted vegetation. That's what these big fish, it is just such a warm water draw. 6 degrees warmer in this pocket than the whole lake. And that fish, I put that little reins ring craw right in front of that fish, man, and it happened. That's pretty awesome. What a cool deal. What a fish. That's a nice female right there. Look at that. Look at that big old fish right there. Ready to go. So cool. Okay, so 2 keys when I'm fishing a mat like this. The biggest key, because we're using a heavy weight, so if you kind of just cast it out there, you're going to make a big splash. The main thing is when I'm pitching a mat, what I'll do at the very end, before that bait is just about to hit the mat, I'll kind of push on the bait casting reel, just thumb it a little bit just to get that to feather through that mat. That weight's going to push the bait through, and I'm basically looking for irregularities in the mat. I'm looking for little open spots, you know, any place where I can you know, get that bait through easily without making a lot of disturbance. The other reason I like going with the wind is you can see this wind is pushing this stuff along. It's actually a natural current. So what I'm doing is I believe these fish are positioned in a certain way a lot of times to where you got to kind of go with the current. And it's the perfect combination. You know, we got a nice mat here, we got a little bit of water underneath it. 2.8 foot of water right now. It's perfect. Good amount of water. We got current blowing through there. So a lot of times, I mean, those fish will be on the very edge of this stuff. They'll be on a point like this. You know, what I'm going to do, oh, I just got hit right there. It felt like I had one ticket. Could have been one of those small males. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll work the points and then get in the heart of it first. I'm going to try to, when I come up on a mat like this, I'm going to try to look before I cast, those high percentage areas. I want to hit those first and then kind of work around it. But you want to be thorough because sometimes you can overlook places too. They could be anywhere in this mat, but usually hit the high percentage spots first and then go in. I got the whole mat with him. He ain't as big as I thought he was, but man, I'll still take it. That's cool though. That's really cool. right on the point though. All these fish, for the most part, are coming on little points in this where the water's a little bit deeper. Boy, and I tell you what, they're all hooked good. That little reins ring craw is awesome. That's a little female. Got some eggs on her still. These fish are just moving into here to getting ready to spawn, getting under this nice heated up mat. Okay, so what I like punching when I'm fishing really thick stuff like this, you can see, I like something compact. And I use a reins ring craw. You can see how small that is. You don't need a big profile, you just need something to get through the mat. So I try to use the lightest weight I can get away with, but you need a heavier weight. This is an 1.25 ounce reins tungsten slip sinker. I'm gonna try to use the lightest heavy weight that I can get away with. So once I punch through, I want it to be as subtle of a presentation. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll punch it through, I'll let it hit the bottom, and I'll bring it back up to that canopy and just let it shake there. And a lot of times they'll just pick it off, and that's exactly how that fish hit. So they're just sitting under that. It's producing a lot of heat, and those big fish, when we're in a protected area and it's hot like this, they're going to get right under that canopy. It's a nice shade line for them, a nice area where they can just sit under and be, you know, unharmed by everything else, by the birds and everything that's trying to eat them. Okay, so the rod, reel, line, the whole setup that I'm using, Dobyns Champion Extreme DX795, the flipping stick, Lew's BB1 Pro 7:1 gear ratio reel. Need a high-speed reel to really pick up a lot of line when you get a fish like that and move them away from cover, but the rod does the work. So heavy action rod, and most important, the line too. Gamma Torque braid 65-pound test, 1.25 ounce reins tungsten, pegged with a Cahera bobber stop, little reins ring craw, black and blue, and then that Strike King Greg Hackney 4/0 hook. Okay, so what you're going to need is you're going to need some bobber stops. These are Cahera bobber stops. You need the reins tungsten slip sinker and Strike King Greg Hackney 4/0 hook and a reins ring craw. So what I do with the bobber stops, I like to put 2 on when I peg. I'm going to put the line through like so. I'm going to pull this up on the line, and that's going to keep that weight from sliding. Then what I do is I add my weight. And then I'm going to tie a snell knot on this Greg Hackney, Strike King Greg Hackney hook. So I'm going to put the line through like that. I'll give myself enough line. I'm going to bring it over. And I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to twist that line on the shank of that hook over and then under through the loop. And I like to do that about 6 times. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull and just cinch down on this knot without letting it go over the eye. Tighten it, check it, trim the tag, and then I take the reins ring craw, put it through to about where the hook starts to bend. Put it through, let it slide over that little keeper there. That keeper keeps that bait from sliding down. Then when I'm punching, I'm going to take it and I'm going to just bury that right in there. I don't want that hook point to come through at all. I want to make it so it's extra weedless to get through that thick cover. Then I pull everything down, and that's the setup right there.